How would you like to make seven or $8,000 per month, or perhaps even more, teaching English as a foreign language and providing a U.S. high school diploma at the same time? Stand by for details from Immersion English Institutes. My name is Ken Harvey. I'm the president of the International Education Institute, which is also doing business as the Immersion English Institutes. When I was young, as pictured here, I went through a special language training program where all of us in the program lived in a dormitory, and we were told that we could no longer speak English. In the case of my group, we were learning Spanish in preparation to go to Central America, specifically to Guatemala and El Salvador, to serve as volunteers there. So this program lasted only 2 months, but it was so intensive from early morning to late at night, and with our promise that we would not speak English except some very short-term specific locations. And in just 2 months, we learned Spanish well enough that we could go begin our work as volunteers. We were assigned with somebody who had already been there for about 6 months, but together we did our work. I began teaching and helping people with the Spanish that I was able to learn in those 2 months. This was exciting to me and something that really ingrained itself into my mind of how one could learn something very rapidly if it was done intensively and then immediately began to be applied. And so later, my major was communications, but my minor was Spanish education. And I always had it in the back of my mind that I did want to teach English as a foreign language, but for most of my career, I did other things. I did for 7 years work under contract with the Migrant Bilingual Education Program in Washington State and reported on the best practices in that field. And I was involved in other ways. And we just continued to think about my experience as a young man. So flash forward, we are looking at creating a program that immediately begins some immersive aspects, but then my plan is in just a couple of years to try to replicate that total immersion program that I went through as a young man. Right now, what we're working on is a K-12, a kindergarten through 12th grade program where students will learn English as they take courses towards graduation. And no matter where they live, as long as they can gain access to our online curriculum, they can achieve an American high school diploma when they're done. This will help them in several ways. First off, will actually help them learn the subjects they're already learning in their local school, perhaps. I mean, they don't have to if they want to just get the American diploma. That's fine. Frankly, America is not known for having the best math education or even the best science education. So it could be that somebody in Kazakhstan, for example, might want to continue their local education. They may be in a special school that emphasizes math and science, for example. Thus, when they take those courses, those related courses in our curriculum, they already know the content. They're just learning the academic vocabulary. Another subject, however, for example, American history, that is in our curriculum, that would be something that might be almost totally new to them, in which case, they might have to study a little bit harder. But regardless, they can choose what they want to do if they just want to get the American diploma or want to just learn the English that we teach and not get a diploma by not complete everything that we would require. Or they can do both to get their local diploma and one from America, which will open up to them some opportunities in higher education and in their career that they might not have otherwise. Wow, this person achieved a high school diploma in both California and in Kazakhstan. That must mean they're used to American culture. They understand English a little better. They can work with our team better. They can do better in our university, whatever it might be. They're going to make some presumptions, and hopefully those presumptions are accurate. And if you work hard in our program, they should be accurate. I want to just explain first off in this first slide why this is important. While most international schools around the world charge about $2,000 tuition per month, our students can achieve an American high school diploma for perhaps $100 a month. Each teacher can set their own price and establish their own services. Much of the curriculum is automated online, but teachers can agree to more or less service, more or less live courses, more lectures or demonstrations that they might want to provide. And we will have a directory of teachers using our curriculum. So you can decide whether to do it locally and in a physical setting, do it online, and which teacher to choose to proceed with to achieve this diploma. Our K through 12, kindergarten through 12th grade curriculum uses simplified English and multimedia that helped one specialized school of English language learners, ELLs, and other at-risk students in America raise their pass rate on the state achievement exam from under 30% to over 80% in 1 year. So this has already shown itself to be effective with English language learners, but we are actually adding some content that will make it even more effective. Our enhanced curriculum simultaneously teaches the K through 12 core subjects, science, math, language arts, and social studies, plus English as a foreign language. This last part, the English as a foreign language, is being developed right now in parallel to the regular content. So when they're done, their English should be substantially better. And in fact, we will basically for every course, every core course, every content course that's already established in this program, we will create an English course that to teach the vocabulary and some key grammar and so forth as the student goes along. Again, for every lesson they take in, let's say, American history, they would have a lesson in their EFL, their English as a Foreign Language course, to help prepare them to understand the content as well. Because our online system does most of the teaching and assessments for the instructor, one instructor could answer questions and provide supplemental instruction in a virtual or physical classroom for more than 100 students, possibly even 200. Depends how much service they want to provide and what they want to charge. And in so doing, though, one teacher could make anywhere from $7,400 per month to $10,000 per month, depending on their ability to help market their program. And again, their program is using our curriculum. It would be up to them to decide what else to add to it. The Immersion English Institute's program that we are creating can provide great marketing support for those who get involved in our final development activities. The K-12 curriculum is available already for students with fairly good English, but we will reward those who help finalize the EFL curriculum, which in turn will allow you to recruit hundreds of additional EFL students. So we'll help you more in marketing. There's some things that we'll discuss in a second, how we will help you, but also as we complete in the new EFL portion, you should be able to recruit a lot more students. Once the curriculum is completed, we will develop an inexpensive university work study program and a shorter term learn and travel package to better prepare students for a lucrative international career. So that'd be our next step. This is our high school curriculum, but we also have envisioned a university curriculum mostly based on communications, marketing, business, entrepreneurial, journalism, and also English as a foreign language. Those would be our main majors that we would start with, and then we might branch out from there. That will be something decided later. Part of that will develop our own intensive program like I experienced as a young man. So that would be something that high school students as a near graduation or have just graduated might want to be part of. It would technically part of the university program, but it would recognize that not everybody that wants to go through that intensive 3-month program will want to stay for the university degree, and that's fine. In fact, the majors is teach English as a foreign language. Our students who are majoring in that will help with our immersion program so that when students come into our dormitories, there will be student tutors and teachers who are with that major living in the dormitory also and overseeing the activities and making sure that everybody's keeping the rule, no native language, only English. You know that ultimately people who have advanced English skills can nearly double their income during their career. So for the students, this is important. And if you're a teacher, this is important for you to know too, and to be excited about this program. We can help accomplish this. So that's what we're doing with Immersion Education Institutes. There's some other aspects to it. What are the benefits to you as an instructor, if that's who's watching this video, or as a co-author to our K-12 EFL curriculum. First off, you would be among the first in your community to offer this K-12 curriculum, if not the only one. And you'd be offering it not for $2,000. So the numbers we use here would be based on the idea of $100 per month. That'd be 5% cost of international schools. But there may be some who are going to provide very little assistance besides the curriculum itself, and they might charge less. All of the teachers and schools that adopt our curriculum will be part of our directory of instructors. And in that directory, you'll be able to share your name, your background, your photo, your contact information. You can have a link to a sample lesson, etc., so that you can attract more students. You can let them know whether you're teaching online or on site. And if you're one of our co-creators who helps us develop this last piece to our curriculum for students for whom English is a foreign language, you will be at the top of the list, and we'll be supporting you even more than other instructors. Indeed, prospective students will know that you're not just a regular instructor, you're one of the creators of the curriculum. Because the online curriculum does most of the teaching and assessments for you, you'll be able to teach, let's say, 100 students online or offline all by yourself, and make 100 students times $74, pay you the $100. In other words, it would be $74 times 100 students would be $7,400 per month, would be a pretty good wage. Okay, so what next? So this is the last slide in this presentation. So let me go through these bullet items. So first off, right now you could go to this website here, https, iei.etap.org. ETAP is the original site. They totally copied everything they have on etap.org and put it into our site, which is iei.etap.org. So we're creating our curriculum in this URL, still on their server, on our partner server, but with our own URL. And because we will be really emphasizing working with teachers, whereas in many cases their work, a lot of their clients are homeschoolers in America. There are a lot of parents who feel like the public schools are not doing what they want to do, and so they're just teaching their children at home. There's literally millions of Americans that do that. So, they target the not only the homeschoolers, many means. I already mentioned the example of a school in a special school for English language learners in California that used it and enhanced their program, dramatically. So there are schools using it, but still they have focused to a large degree, not exclusively, but to a large degree on homeschoolers who are looking for something that they can, that will prepare their students for exams and stuff, that this has been created for that purpose. So you can go to etap.org or the iei.etap.org and request your free trial to examine the curriculum. The front page, I'll admit right now, needs major revisions, in part to emphasize schools instead of homeschoolers, but those will come soon. So look at the courses, though. There will be changes in the front page, especially in its direct attachments. Finalize your decision whether you want to participate in this program as either a co-creator and or as a teacher, and receive your permanent ID and password and designated authority for using, adding, changing course content. There's some things that only I and maybe one or two other people will have authority to do, and that includes actually creating the course originally, as far as just the name. And then the contents, you can create the contents as a teacher in the system, for example. So that's the first thing you do. We need to decide whether you're going to proceed and go ahead and get set up within the system, within the learning management system. Then you need to go through the curriculum that and provide me, and you can be doing this at the same time that you're doing the first, doing bullet one. You can, in bullet two, be going through the curriculum and prioritizing a list of at least 5 courses for which you would feel comfortable creating the parallel EFL English course. And then submit that list to me, and I will assign one to you. To some degree, it'll be somewhat first come, first serve. So the first person that says they want this particular course, they want the physics course, the high school level, they're the first person to ask for it. Then as long as their background suggests they can handle it, I'll be glad to probably give that to them. And then if somebody else submits their list, and even though their first choice was physics, then they'll be given their second or third choice, whatever. So make up a list of at least 5 courses for which you would feel comfortable creating the parallel English EFL English course, and so I can assign you one, and you can be put in charge of that course. As I said, however, it's up to you. You can do it individually. I know one university is talking about doing it as a group just to get familiar with it and to have a really good example that all of their professors who also want to be published in this and part of this curriculum, that they then might do it even totally separately. But the first time they're talking about doing it as a group, so there's maybe 4 people working on one course, and anyway, we can adapt our rules, whatever. But what we do want to make sure that there's at least one, if not native speaker, at least near native speaker to help create the audio files. And we do have a lot of American applicants for this, so it wouldn't be hard to find you an American co-author for a program if you're not a native English speaker. Third bullet item: after I approve one of your courses, then you would begin a close-up review of your content while I provide you a word list for each lesson of the course. So we can do that. We can go ahead and we'll create a list of every word used in your course, and in order of how many times it's used. It'll actually tell you how many times this word is used, how many times this other word is used for each lesson. Now, once I get that list, so I'll get that list and you'll get that list. And when I have that list, I'm going to put it in a master vocabulary list and do a search to see where else that word shows up. And so if that word shows up maybe even multiple times before it even gets to your course, then I might recommend that you not use that vocabulary word. And we think, especially in the case of us requiring that a student take the courses for grade 11 and 12, so it may have shown up, that word may have shown up 3 times before, including in class 11, and you're teaching a course 12 course. And so there's a question: do we want to use that word? We've already taught it in grade 11, and they were required to take grade 11. And it also showed up in grade 9, but they weren't required to learn it in grade 9. So we have some judgments to make. And so you'd create a word list for each lesson. And I, meanwhile, would be going through that also and doing this, doing my analysis of the vocabulary as we go along, and checking it also with the Oxford, particularly maybe Oxford 5000 list anyway, and probably the whole Oxford's 8,000, but we'll have it divided into 8,000 and 5,000. The 5,000 and the additional 3,000 they have in a separate list, and so we can see what words we're covering from the Oxford 8,000 list, and as well as in our other courses in our curriculum. Okay, so once you propose your 10 or 12 whatever vocabulary words, I will review them and compare them to what's being included elsewhere, and make recommendations for changes if any. The next bullet item: create your graphic and videos for each vocabulary word for your first lesson. I will show you how to upload them to our private YouTube site and embed them into the learning management system, the LMS. Create your other learning activities for your lessons, vocabulary words. I'll help you create your formative quizzes and other activities as well. Review the grammar that we will upload, as I already described, from grades 1 to 6 English courses into grades 7 and 12. They will also remain in grades 1 to 6, so they're totally redundant for students who are not doing the whole curriculum, which probably the majority would not be doing the entire curriculum. So those will remain also in the grades 1 through 6, and the teacher will recommend in either case what to use, what not to use, what to add, what to clarify, how to improve, whatever, with where it appears in each case. But do be aware that, again, when we get to grade 6, there will be preliminary assessments to determine if they really even need to take the course. Maybe they don't need to. And finally, anyway, still in that same bullet, you'll make your recommendations and I'll make suggestions and you'll finish your work. In the last bullet there, complete these steps for the subsequent lessons with less and less oversight and assistance from me or from anybody that I might assign to help you. And then contact me for technical assistance when you need it instead of on pretty much a regular basis initially. And I can help brainstorm. I can help, ultimately I'll probably review every course. One of the things I did, my professionally I've been mostly a professional communicator, not a English teacher. Even like I said, I did study to teach Spanish in high school or someplace, but I didn't actually do that. I just studied it because I learned it to work abroad. But I mostly taught journalism, PR, marketing, or I mostly did that, and that's also what I've taught at the university level primarily. I've had some other courses too, like success strategies and academic English and stuff like that. So I have taught some English, mostly at the higher level for academic English to prepare students to write their theses, their master's thesis, for example. And I've even taught other teachers who are non-native speakers. I've taught them how to be more successful in getting research published by the way they choose their vocabulary in their research writing. To not try to sound too sophisticated, try to simplify their writing and simplify their writing and emphasize their content. That's what editors are really looking for in most academic journals. So anyway, so then you'll proceed and finish all of your lessons and with all of your vocabulary. And when you get completed, then you'll be done. If you want to take on, for academic reasons, say you're a university professor, there will be other assignments too. There are some social studies courses and some other courses that could use an upgrade. And so we want to first off get the EFL courses done because that is important to our marketing. And then for those who want additional credit for academic publications and so forth, we'll have other work for you to do.